Welcome to my story, episode 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, 1 and 4, 1 Monopoly, 4 the book. Well, those are, again, the next big things in history. Maybe my next big things weren't quite the right next big things in the order of things, but I took a shot at the next big things in the history and the next big things in the future, and, well, that's what we're talking about here in this story. In the real story I was writing in 2005, 2006, which was just a screen plan of Bill Starr's The Next Big Thing, I imagined this virtual world we talked about, sort of this real-time, reel-to-reel and reel-to-reel and reel-to-reel Google Earth, but real-time so that you're actually capturing reality. And, well, once you start capturing reality across the entire world in a movie, well, then you change everything, because you actually are capturing space and time as we know it. We're capturing history as we know it. In fact, that's the strange thing, because what you know as Hollywood starts to go worldwide, because we now put everybody in the movies. See, that's one of the ways we employ the entire planet. You are all now in the movie of the history of the future of us. Now, as soon as you all get in the movie, now how do I put you in the movie? Well, I simply give you all $1, $1 bill down, and as much money in the movie as you can make. And how do you make money in the movie? Well, we'll have to figure that out. Well, we need to make money doing the things of value. And that's the key difference between the reality in the world as you know it today and the reality of the world that I imagined in my head, that, well, could easily become what we accept as common reality. And that is, what is the price and what is the value of what? Is it the pieces of paper that have value? Is it these pieces of paper that burn? Paper burns. Or is it the human being? Now, we all sort of know that, but we have this sense of, well, our economic order. And actually, we have this sense of our own national identities and our own national orders. And, well, America has this sense that, oh, we're losing our, control of the world, and politicians that say, no, this is still going to be the century for America. And people are predicting vastly, no, this is the century of China. But no, I imagined this is the century of one world. That's the difference. That's way beyond everything you might imagine here. One world, across the world, one virtual enterprise of us, with nations of people all working together as one nation of us, but an enterprise nation, not a political corrupt nation. Now, you see, when you get to this notion, then you start to change your whole value of what's important. Because, see, when we put ourselves in this movie, we say, what are we doing in a movie? What are we doing differently in a movie? Okay, then we do today. Well, the first thing we do is we wipe out the war. We wipe out the need for war between nations. And maybe, well, we certainly wipe out the religious wars, because we must join together under recognizing the power of one truth. And then we must wipe out our tribal differences, and we must not lose our culture and our past. We must embrace it. We must embrace it under a human understanding, sort of like a common Bill of Rights for every citizen on the planet, one that we could enforce in virtual space, because if we moved into a virtual space, we could make the price of entry saying, well, you have to abide by the rules of our virtual space. Of course, those rules would be designed for flexibility and protection. And well, what would the rules be that you would design if all of you are trying to achieve the closest thing we could achieve to the pinnacle of perfection? That's the right, because see, in this new world order, see, you've got now many things fighting it out, saying, I'm better, I'm the next big thing, this toaster's better than that one. Well, this window's better than this apple, but, you know, in the vision I had is, why wouldn't you choose standards? See, especially in the technology area, choose global standards. See, when you buy them all out, we can choose a standard, and the windfall profits from, let's say, one thing like an Oracle becoming a database standard, or an OSX becoming a platform for laptops if you had them, or iPads. Why not have that become the global standard, or whatever? As long as you have standards and have even competing ones fighting it out to do it better. But at the end of the day, it's the consumer that must win, and not pockets of pieces of Barney that happen to back one of the vendors of losers. Well, the losers and winners, and they all match out in the end. And that's why part of the plan was to take out Wall Street by buying it out. So peace in the battlefield, peace in the economic field. And now, what do we do with our planet when, well, we own all our stars in Hollywood, and here's the thing, they're now worth 1,000 times more valuable. Well, they already live the lifestyles of the Rileys and the riches and the famous. They probably don't need a whole lot more than that, and actually, they could just use better content, better missions, maybe better stories of how we imagine here a future enterprise of all of the planet working together to grow the humanity of people. And what that means is we grow from the Maslow pyramid up. And you'll find, what does that mean? Well, at the bottom is we provide everybody a base level of food and housing. Is that base level the same across all nations? No. We take the base level today and we promise to sustain it and grow it across the world. Now that's not too hard or too expensive for 50% of the world living on $2 a day. We could simply say your base level is now $2 a day plus whatever you can get beyond that. And why not? And then we build from there. We build projects for housing. Hey, why not put our ROIC to put low-cost housing? Why not figure out a way where we could put low-cost housing? Again, don't worry about the jobs. That's the problem we have, because along the way, technology will replace jobs. But ultimately, if we re-engineer our capital structure of a total economic enterprise, we can actually balance that out. Now, I don't know how to do that exactly. Why? Because, well, I just came up with the ideas and sort of, well, I think you do. In fact, I know you do. I would bet my life on it. If you put your heads together, you have the power to achieve infinite prosperity on Earth. If we all had the power to say, listen, we don't have to have war anymore. Listen, we could create a global enterprise. Listen, I will put my trust in my fellow man. Well, of course, trust by verify, because what you do in this new enterprise is you put digital controls. See, if everything's in a movie, imagine a world, and so it's like a different structure, and so I imagine boards across every sector of enterprise, boards across every part of our knowledge base, boards that advance the structure of learning, boards that were geographic but global, and see, think global, act local, all of those things that we know from American capitalism. Imagine those spreading worldwide, but not like with a stamp, maybe with the good seal of approval of America, but implemented by the Chinese and the Europeans, by everybody. But it's not just America. There are great ideas throughout the world that we can leverage. And so the whole notion is, how can we leverage and unleash the power of people? And, well, what do we do with all the time we save? What do we do with a future? Well, a future economy in which everyone is in the movie. And what would you do to grow your community, to advance your community? Well, you see, in this movie, we all become like more prosperous, and that prosperity begets more prosperity, and well, that begets that, and that begets that. See, like, it's like I said before, imagine like half the people who died of the planet. You're trying to figure out how do we manage these debts because you're thinking wrong. Okay, why do you thinking wrong? Well, we have this massive problem with Medicare in America. Why is it? Because the bills keep going up. Why do the bills keep going up? Because, well, the drug company scams and the monopolies of doctors and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that doctors shouldn't get their fair share of the wealth, but the whole system itself is gaming Medicare, and it's screwing us, and we're not even getting the best prices we could. But here's the point. What if we own the drug companies? We owned the healthcare system, and we owned it, and we made it fair share of profits, but the profit we wanted was the profit of providing life. And so, we also own the insurance companies. So we were self-insured, and we were handling our own medicine, and our job was to keep people alive. Now, here's the problem of the economics of keeping people alive over time. The longer our lives go, the higher the costs are to keep people alive. And if you keep a whole notion of this indebted world of keeping people alive, well, we're going to have an economic problem if you keep paying millions to keep a billion. Well, anyway, the point is this. There are better ways to do everything. And if we put our heads together, and that's why the only way you can probably work the plan to put your heads together is to put your economic interest together. The only one way to do that is to merge the interests of various companies so that, well, they take the stock in their own company and have a greater stock and a greater enterprise. And you'll find that much of the value of the planet is not held by private capital, but by public capital like China and Russia. And, well, imagine their stock going again in the enterprise. Now, the difference is this. Instead of the stock or the benefit being owned by the government and controlled by the government, no, we put it in the buckets of the people. Now, when we put our investments in the buckets of the people, we must ask ourselves, how do we do this? Do we just let them go in and decide to play a trading game? Well, there's not going to be a lot to trade. If we're smart, we say, let our smart people invest the money. Because there's never going to be a better opportunity than the ground floor enterprise when the entire enterprise of Earth was unleashed by the prosperity of an infinite pool of wealth out of a single global currency and open worldwide markets. There will never be a better enterprise investment opportunity than investing in WeThePeopleOfEarth.biz. So then we simply, smartly make sure, see, instead of government running Social Security, we just say, listen, the stock in your account is in your account. You could look at it any time, but you can't touch it. It'll come out as dividends. It'll come out if it needs to for your disability or whatever. We build in the design to the system. See, we build a Social Security kind of system into our enterprise, into the stock enterprise, into the profits that you collect. They come back into stocks. Some come back into dividends or cash. But the point is this. It's like an enterprise of us with us directly to the enterprise and not subservient to imaginary nations. Not to say that we won't
play those imaginary nations along. We keep the Queen going and Parliament going. We keep the Congress going and the presidents going. Even though we might ignore everything they say and turn it into a comedy channel, we done everything you used to do. We keep it going like it was because what the heck, it's just some channels we do, and we could afford to run those because there's just stars in the old way of doing it. But then we do it differently, and we do it better, and we build a future to the infinity of our minds, the infinite prosperity. From infinite minds comes infinite money.